Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. This is Casey with NeuroSpicy Double Pisces, and today's pick a card is a special one. It's going to be the first part of a series that I I really felt the need to tackle. Um, as you know, I am NeuroSpicy AF, and I assume that you are watching because you're a little neurospicy as well. So, this is where I have come to kind of not give any kind of F's about anything. um, but that being said, this series is going to be based all around this question that we all deal with, that we all uh, probably ruminate on. And it's, are you too much? Are you too much? Whether it's in a relationship, at a job, at home, even for yourself, in your own head, are you too much? And so, episode 1, welcome. So, are you too much? This is going to be about RSD, which is Rejection Sensitivity Disorder, and why you feel everything too deeply. So, we have 3 piles. Um, I decided to go with a pick a hat sticker. Pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3. All right, take a deep breath and let's dig in. Let's see if there's any messages in here for y'all. um, Thank you so much for being here. And I will see you at your reading. Hey y'all. If you chose pile 1 with this hat, it's going to be your reading. So, I have got these cards here, and I'm going to look at them. We have the Orphan, 5 of Pentacles, being too much again, rejection, overexpression, and shame. And we will save your mindful message for last. Okay, so this NeuroSpicy reading suggests that your experiences with rejection sensitivity, RSD, are deeply tied to a sense of non belonging. Mm. Shifting your internal narrative from too much to I am enough is the key to healing. Okay, so let's talk about this. The orphan archetype. So, the orphan card, this is from Kim Krantz, The Wild Unknown Archetypes Tarot. Or not tarot, Oracle deck. In case you're interested, it's a beautiful deck. But, okay, so this card highlights a core frequency of not belonging and collective isolation. For someone struggling with RSD, this card represents the deep seated fear that you are inherently disconnected from the pack, or society. It reflects those fragmented parts of yourself that you may have rejected or orphaned as they didn't seem accepted by others. So the struggle, Five of Pentacles. So traditionally, this card is a card of material hardship. In a psychological context, kind of points to feeling left out in the cold. It signifies a sense of exclusion and abandonment in terms of NeuroSpicy. You know, this reflects the exhausting survival mode, trying to find stability when you feel cast aside or disconnected from group, anyone really. It acknowledges the real emotional pain of being an outcast or, you know, socially awkward, you know. Being too much again. Rejection, overexpression. So, this I think really speaks to the pattern of being too much again. This is the Dead Inside deck, by the way. I think it perfectly captures the NeuroSpicy experience. You should check it out. Um, but the fear, this captures a specific NeuroSpicy experience, like the fear of overexpression leading to rejection and shame. Mm. There's the echo, which is kind of a repeated theme. It's deepening the message, asking you to look closer at what keeps returning. But for the neurospicy reality, it's traits like info dumping or intense emotional expression that are often framed as being too much, leading to burnout, sensory overload, which kind of mirrors cards like the Nine and Ten of Swords. Mm. So, your mindful message is about the healing. I am enough. I am beautiful just as I am. I am loved just as I am. I am worthy just by being me. I don't need to fit in. I just need to be myself. And the right people will come into my life. Those who see and appreciate me for all that I am. So the affirmation kind of serves as a balancing act for the heavier cards here. It's providing this beacon of light. Release the burden. I think Spirit encourages you to leave behind the things, the opinions that rob you of your sense of self or joy. And likely, this radical acceptance, this it just Spirit calls for you to trust your inner guidance rather than seeking external validation to feel worthy or beautiful. This says that your unique way of seeing the world is actually powerful and it's worthy of celebrating. So I hope you found something here, um, something helpful, something that spoke to your inner knowing. And just know that you are not too much. You're not. And the right people will find you. So, that being said, I'm sending you so much love, warm soul hugs, and I hope to see you in the next one. Make sure to put your pile down below. Um, of course, I'm a bit OCD with numbers, so I love to see, who picked what. Um, you could also let me know where you're watching from, or a leave me a pink flower emoji, just so I know that you're here. All right. Thanks so much, guys. Hope to see you in the next one. Hey, y'all. If you chose pile 2, it's going to be your reading. This hat. So I'm going to flip your cards and take a look. I'm going to save your mindful message for the end. But we have the dead end. Three of Swords. It's complicated. Crying over situationships, emotional investment, and rejection. So, it feels like this reading kind of focuses on the, NeuroSpicy RSD, rejection sensitivity dysphoria. It focuses on where emotional responses to perceived rejection can be as intense as physical pain. I just heard, can I get an amen? Yes, it hurts. These cards, tell a story of recognizing that wall of RSD, allowing the resulting intense emotions to flow, finding a path toward healing through radical self compassion. Okay, so let's start with the dead end. So, in the context, RSD, the dead end represents an internal impasse that kind of occurs when a perceived rejection triggers complete shutdown or a mental wall. I just heard that guy from, I always see him on the reels. He's all like, just have a mentee B and you'll be fine. Oh, but for a neurospicy person, this card can symbolize the empaths, which is a moment where your brain um, tells you a relationship or opportunity is over due to a single perceived slight. Whew. Um, yeah, it's intense. No, it really is like beating a dead horse. It's a dead end for sure. With the transition, it feels like a literal end. This card also a portal and signaling that you have reached the limits of an old coping mechanism, like masking. And having to find that a new way, a new process, and to process these feelings. Um, my goodness, heavy. Hmm. All right, so Three of Swords. This is one of my favorite Three of Swords cards, because you really do see how it acknowledges the intense pain. The Three of Swords is a direct witness to the raw, visceral pain that comes with having RSD. It validates what you are feeling is real and not just in your head. There's no sugarcoating. It acknowledges the sharp sting of rejection, whether real or perceived. Hmm. So mentally, these narratives, the swords kind of represent the thinking function. Um, in RSD, this often looks like your mind creating stories such as being unlovable or too much. And that can actually prolong the grief more than the initial, whatever it was, event that happened. The invitation is asking you to stop performing okayness. Allow yourself to actually feel the wound so it can begin to heal. Complicated. scene 2 days ago, bawling, eyes out. Emotional investment and rejection, crying over situationships. Huh. So, let's see. I mean, this card really kind of sums up the NeuroSpicy romantic experience. Like, um, navigating modern, often ambiguous relationships, like situationships, while being neurospicy is being highlighted, of course, here. There's that heightened sensitivity for those with RSD, a neutral text or a slight change in a partner's tone can feel like a devastating breakup. Nervous system overload. The skeleton crying over a phone illustrates like that emotional roller coaster that happens when your nervous system interprets ambiguity as rejection. Self abandonment serves as a reminder to kind of look where you might be hurting because you self abandoned or didn't speak up for your needs. So that leaves us with our mindful message, which is the up and out. To heal the parts of me that feel hurt, I must feel every emotion that has come up to come out. I don't try to push my feelings away. I sit with them and feel them as I release them. So, the up and out is kind of the necessary remedy. I'm hearing that song, the remedy, the remedy. Um, but the remedy to this intense energy here, um, it represents the NeuroSpicy way of affirming approach to emotional regulation. Um, Emotional release. That message is clear. To heal, you must feel every emotion. So, Spirit encourages you to let the feelings come up and out rather than pushing them away. Gotta have self compassion by viewing these experiences through that NeuroSpicy lens. You can, reduce that self blame and treat yourself with some gentleness that you would offer a friend. Reduce that load. That's functional. It's a functional tool. Pausing. You may need to pause after tasks or social demands, to focus on that, that necessary emotional processing. So the cards suggest that you're currently at a dead end where old ways of handling rejection no longer work. Instead of overanalyzing why you feel broken, that Three of Swords is a mental trap. Allow this intense sadness of the situationship or situation. But that energy, you know, allow that to pass through you naturally. By embracing this up and out energy, you can validate your nervous system's response without letting it define your self worth. Does the dead end card feel like a specific situation that you maybe just finished, or is it more like a general feeling being stuck in that RSD loop? Let me know down below. But I do hope that you found something useful here. And I hope that you take away, if anything, that there you are not too much. You are not too much. Crying is the healthiest way to get through this. It's your body's natural way of healing. So don't be afraid to scream it out, to cry it out. It's not always going to be a dead end. You will grow. You'll grow and expand. But I'm going to leave it here. If you're still here, thank you so much. Leave me a leave me a little broken heart emoji. I like to know who stayed for the entire reading. Or let me know what pile you chose, if you chose this pile or multiple piles. I am obsessed with numbers, so I really do love seeing what you guys put down there, and or where you're watching from. I love also seeing that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it here for like the third time. I'll leave it here. But thank you so much for being here, and just know that you are not too much. You are not too much. You are loved. I love you. Sending you so much love, warm soul hugs, and I hope to see you next one. Bye. Hey, y'all. You chose pile 3. It's going to be reading. Also, you chose this hat. So, what we're going to do is I'm going to flip these 3 cards, and we're going to go over them. I'm going to leave your mindful message for last. So we're going to start. This is the shadow. Eight of Cups. And ghosted again. Rejection, silence, confusion. Says seen, never replied. Hmm. Okay. So this NeuroSpicy reading, we're exploring rejection sensitivity dysphoria, RSD, which is an intense emotional response to perceived or actual rejection, criticism, failures. And for many neurospicy individuals, RSD acts as a primal signal, amplifying social threats, the level of physical danger. And based on these cards, let's start with the root. Right here, the shadow. So this card represents the core of the RSD experience, the shadow self, consisting of repressed fears, childhood wounds, parts of yourself you felt were too much. And I feel the message here is RSD is, often a defense mechanism. Born from past experiences where you felt unloved or excluded. Card. Spirit is asking you to face those hidden treasures. Recognize that your intense sensitivity is a survival trait. Safe. Even if it feels like a monster now. Okay, so current path. Cups. And that signifies a turning point where you recognize that something, perhaps a relationship, social expectation, or a way that you view yourself is no longer fulfilling. So the message In the context of RSD, I think the card represents the quiet, often very painful realization that you may need to walk away from situations that trigger constant emotional dissatisfaction. It encourages, yeah, I think Spirit is encouraging you to follow that intuition. The moon in Cancer. Follow your intuition away from unfulfilling social dynamics. Move toward a more authentic emotional path. Each could be significant. Oh boy. So the trigger there. Ghosted again. But here comes the rain again. Falling on my head like a memory. Oh boy. All right, so ghosted again. Rejection, silence, confusion. This is from the Dead Inside deck, which for me is like so perfect for NeuroSpicy readings. Um, but this card highlights the specific pain, silence, lack of closure. The message is, silence is a major trigger for RSD, often interpreted as deliberate rejection or as abandonment. This card validates that being ghosted is emotionally jarring, but it also warns against the emotional noise and self doubt that comes from trying to invent reasons for someone else's silence. All right? It's not your fault. So, the remedy. Again, I'm hearing that remedy song. It's the remedy, the remedy. Who sings that? Hmm. It's not personal. People's reactions or opinions of me are really not about me at all. People tend to project their own insecurities or fears onto one another. So when someone speaks unkindly to me, I remember they have something going on that has nothing to do with me. So this final card offers a message from Spirit, right? This is offering you a way of grounding technique for managing those triggers of RSD, by kind of shifting your perspective onto others' behavior. You know, it's reminding you that most people's reactions are a projection of their own internal struggles and insecurities rather than a true judgment of your worth. And when RSD flares up, sounds like a peck of hemorrhoids. And when RSD, it might as well be, you know? But when it flares up, this is a reminder. It's an affirmation to cut the cord of overanalysis and reclaim your peace. So, the shadow, repressed fears, past trauma. This is in relation to RSD, this is the historical why behind your sensitivity. The Eight of Cups, walking away from what's unfulfilling. That is choosing self preservation over painful social cycles. Ghosted again. Rejection, silence, and confusion. Validating the intense pain of perceived rejection. And then, it's not personal. Others' reactions aren't about you. So, this is your most helpful tool for de escalating RSD emotional surges. We'll call them surges. I don't know. Which of these cards felt most accurate or surprising for you? Hmm. Also, if you're still here with me, just because I like to know who makes it through the end of the reading, leave me a coffee cup emoji or a phone emoji. But yeah, I hope there's something within this that helps you. If anything, just know that no, you're not too much. Pile 3. Thank you so much for being here. I really do appreciate all the love and support. Not quite sure what exactly this channel is going to be, but it's gonna be me, you know? So, and any of my NeuroSpicy friends that want to join me. Leave your pile number down below. I'm obsessed with numbers, so I love seeing that. Let me know where you're commenting from. I also like to know where you guys are at. That's always interesting. And the beach. But yeah. Or just leave your favorite emoji because I am a girl who loves emojis. I would prefer to speak in emojis. But whatever it has come down to here, I just want you to know that you're not too much. And um, let me know if this series sounds exciting for you, or um, hopefully, um, you See, look at me. I'm already perceiving rejection. This is what I do at the end of every pile, no matter where I am. I'm like, I don't want to go because there's something that I need to say. Oh my goodness. But okay, I love you guys. Um, check out my main channels. Basically, I have a little ecosystem trinity, if you will, of channels. I have Mosaic Mermaid and Seraphim Siren, and those are both my light and my dark, you know, my sweet and my spicy. And this is all of it. This is just me being able to sit here and ramble if I want because, um, you know, I can do that. I can do it over there too, but I try not to because people comment shitty things and I don't like that. So just know that if you're being shitty in my comments, you get you just get blocked. So, anywho, I would love for the comment section to become a place where everyone kind of just, you know, has somewhere to share their experiences and feel safe. So, all right. I love you guys. I will see you in the next one, hopefully. And yeah, all right. You're not too much. We are not too much. Okay, love you guys.